what did you think of A, how Edgerrin looked yesterday, and B, how does a guy like him get back into the competition part of things when the competition part of things is kind of wrapping up?
Well, it's always competitive. I think every day is competitive, and so certainly he's a very talented player, and he's got to work his way back in to the rotation or the groove or whatever it is to try to be able to go out there and be a productive member of our team and help us win games, because he certainly is capable. But I think he's getting better. He's working hard at it each and every day, and I know the medical staff is doing a good job with him as well as our strength staff. So I think it's just a matter of time before we can get him out there and on a regular basis with no limitations.
Can you determine practice length and player load and all that stuff? How big a role does GPS data, does it play any role in that? Or
Absolutely. It definitely, you take it into account, but at the same time, it's, you gotta, I think you lean on your past experiences and kind of your feel for your squad at the time. I mean, where we're at, and certainly there's circumstances that come up that dictate what you do in terms of the number of injuries you have, and sometimes you got to pull back. And whereas when you're healthy, you can really push forward.
Matt, with Derrick Henry coming to town with Baltimore, curious about your year with him in Tennessee. If I'm not mistaken, that was his third year, and he had not been a starter the previous 2 years, and then had obviously the big year for you with 1,000 yards.
Yeah, it took us a while, to be honest with you. We had Dion Lewis as well, and both those guys were kind of split in time early on. And I think it was right around the bye week or whatever, he just came back, and it was like he was a different guy. It was crazy, the transformation he made, and I mean, that was really the year that kind of propelled him into who he is today. I think I got a lot of respect for the guy in terms of just his mindset and the resiliency he showed, the work ethic he showed on a daily basis. I thought Tony Dews, who was our running back coach at the time, did a great job with him, just continuing to push him. And yeah, he had a lot of big runs, and I'll never forget the one we had backed up, the 99-yarder versus Jacksonville. Although, full disclosure here, I had actually called a quarterback sneak can to the run, or vice versa. It was the duo can to quarterback sneak, and there was an open A gap, and I'll never forget. I'm like, we're going to run the quarterback sneak, and he handed the ball off, and initial thought was, what are we doing? Until he broke about 7 tackles on the way to a 99-yard run. So, little nugget for you guys.
What happened to AJ? And then I believe it was a stinger last year that kept him up for quite a spell. Is there some concern there in this one?
I think anytime you have a repeated injury, absolutely there's a concern. But I think we're being cautious with him and just making sure we gather all the information before we let him go back out there.
Matt, as far as your group as a whole, getting him back from Denver, what were your observations from practice? It seemed like there was a lot of juice and energy from the group.
You're saying yesterday? Yeah, I think our guys were excited to get back out there. Certainly our starters had, 4 days off, essentially, from real football. And it was good to get back out there to compete, and we're looking forward till tomorrow. So.
Did you learn from past experiences with these joint practices, how you're going to go about them? Did you learn anything specifically last week that you're going to tweak this week because of something that?
Nothing like big. I'd say it's what we had planned going into this week prior to going to Denver is what we're sticking with. So I just think it's good for our guys to go in, and just the mental preparation that it takes, whether you're playing another team in practice or a game, I think is something that you can really learn from, and just what it takes to get ready to go, to put your best foot forward.
I understand determining who your kicker is isn't as simple as who makes more kicks during these open practices. What else are you guys considering when determining who you're going to go with there?
Everything that they do. Everything's under a microscope. Everything's being evaluated. So I think obviously you put a lot of stock into when you're playing against somebody else, whether it's a game or practice, and I think everything gets heightened a little bit. Just the anxieties and the pressure gets amped up a little bit more.
What are you looking for that 5th/6th receiver spot? Is there a specific skill that you're looking for? Is it all around things? Is it special teams?
All of the above. I mean, you're looking at everything. You look at their ability. I think anytime you're talking about that spot in particular, whether it's the 5th receiver, the 3rd runner, some of your backup linebackers, your 4th safety, your 5th corner, like those guys have to be able to contribute on special teams. Absolutely. And I think that's pretty standard around the league. So, but also, I mean, you certainly want somebody that can come in and help you on the offense side of the ball. And right now, we've got a great competition. I think all those guys are doing a really good job. The thing that I love most is they know they're all competing, but yet they're still pushing, they're still cheering for one another, which is a pretty cool dynamic. I see it every day. They push each other to get better, the way they strain, the way they go out there and compete, and everything they do. And so I think all of them have benefited from it because they're all getting better throughout the process.
You know, do you have the luxury, you're not a rebuilding team anymore, to keep some spots that are mostly for special team guys? I mean, I know everybody has to contribute in some backup position, but if you can keep a guy who has special teams experience versus maybe, you know, a younger guy who's 2 or 3 years down the road, do you need to do that to keep your special teams, you know, fluid?
Yeah, I think potentially. I think every situation you evaluate it. I don't want to make it about a veteran player versus a younger player. Certainly, the veteran players have more experience, especially in that role. But I think you got to be able to project a little bit too, and to see where we can get guys to go. And I think, you know, Rich, Byron, and Kyle have done a really good job of developing players. Obviously, over the year, I think last year we had a lot of young guys playing for us, and so you know, it's a little bit of a projection as well.
In year 2, do you expect those guys to make a big jump on special teams, or special teams guys?
Yeah, I think absolutely. The expectation is everybody makes a big jump in every phase of the ball, whether you're offense player, defense player, certainly on defense, and that's what we have to demand and have to expect from our players.
Out of just the camp that Christian Welch has put together, and then obviously some of the plays he's made the last 2 preseason games.
Yeah, I think he's done a lot of good things. Another guy that's a veteran guy that has made his role on special teams, but I think he's shown a lot of good ability as a linebacker as well, and certainly has made some splash plays. I thought this last game was much better than the first game in terms of just the consistency, and that's something we're looking for.
You know, Stevich has said the other day that the one thing you got to have in the backup tackle is reliability. You got to know that he can pass block. Are you still finding, I mean, do you have somebody you know for sure can be reliable as a pass blocker, or are you still trying to figure that out, whether they are?
I think we're trying to figure out who the 3rd guy is, and just that consistency that we're looking for. I think it's a good battle. So we got confidence in all those guys that are battling for it, and it just comes down to just putting that consistent performance out there.
Today, just a walkthrough type?
Yeah, it's more mental. Yesterday you saw what we did in terms of the guys that played a significant amount of reps. They were more low speed, considering they weren't even 48 hours from playing a game. And then the guys that didn't play or didn't play as many snaps, they were full speed. So today everybody will be same speed.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks guys.